it's not about getting them out to say, wow, wow, look at me, woe is me. It's not a victim story. For me, this was a story of, or my stories are about, I would say, my uncovery, my discovery, and then my recovery. Because part two of the book is about the recovery in the sense of the portals I found to express myself and reveal my wholeness.
Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery, where transformation meets action. I'm Eugene Holden. I'm one of your guides on this journey of personal growth, mindset shifts, and deep self-awareness. Each episode, we dive into the tools, wisdom, and strategies you need to break through limitations and step into your highest potential. No fluff, no shortcuts here, just real conversations, practical insights, and a community dedicated to mastery in every area of life. So, if you're ready to unlock your power, elevate your mindset, and create a life by design, then let's get started. Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. Welcome to the deep end. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. I'm Eugene Holden, of course, and my co-host today is the Reverend MelissaMoorer-Nobles. And just before we get to our guest, I just want to let you know a little bit about the Academy of Self-Mastery. As you notice, the self in self-mastery is lowercase s, because that's the self that we are here to master. The higher s, or the capital S self, is already the master, right? So that lowercase, s is that part of us that talks about or complains, I'm not good enough, I'm afraid, and all of that. So that's what the Academy of Self-Mastery is all about, is tapping into the current events of what's going on and how we may be experiencing those current events, maybe from a place of fear, maybe from a place of frustration, maybe from a place of pissosity, but also, tapping into, okay, how do we raise our vibration to navigate this so that we may also be change agents in the planet, on the planet, in the world. Again, my beautiful co-host is the Reverend MelissaMoorer-Nobles, and she invited
Rev Jennifer. I'm so excited. So let me introduce her properly. Jennifer Berkeley is a poet, spiritual teacher, and author who has been writing and publishing poetry for more than 4 decades. Her first narrative work, Belonging, Digging Up Roots to Find My Place, explores her roots in the Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx, shaped by family, cultural, and spiritual traditions, and reveals the profound connection between becoming and belonging. She now lives in a quieter life in rural Connecticut with her husband, George, and their dog, Bamboo, and a bear who often helps himself to the family garden. Her book, Belonging, I have it, y'all, is available on Amazon and Book Baby. Rev Jennifer is also a retired pulpit minister. She is my spiritual mentor. She is one of the reasons why I am Rev Melissa. She is also a member of the Centers for Spiritual Living, the Alumni Ministers Wisdom Committee, and they will be having a elders speak in October. So we're going to mention that a little later as well. So welcome, Rev Jennifer, as our first guest on Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. Welcome.
Welcome. Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for just allowing me to share this space with both of you, two people I truly, I'll say, admire in so many ways, and just the work that each of you does in your own unique way. And Reverend Melissa, I don't know how long. The only way I know how long I've known you is I go back to those girls of yours who are now in college, and I always have that vision, which I bring it up every time, of you like coming into church in New York with one in each arm and pulling the strollers behind you. So I've known you since then. So it's
Yes.
like more than probably almost 2 decades now. So it's just been for me such an honor to watch you grow and glow and spread your joy everywhere. And I always say I want to take what is that called? A page of your book on joy, because you
Uh,
just got a way of making it happen and sharing it in so many ways. So thanks
uh,
so much for having me. I'm truly honored and blessed to be here.
thank you so much, Rev Jennifer. Thank you so much. Woo! So, Rev Jennifer, I got your book, Belonging, available on Amazon and Book Baby Book. Where
Book
is it?
Baby, that's the
Book Baby.
publisher's Book Baby.
And I didn't get through all of it, but I stopped and took several deep breaths going through the introduction because I felt I could so resonate with your experience of your childhood. And I don't know if folks could see this, but this is Rev Jennifer right here. And she's in the introduction, Rev Jennifer talks about this photograph.
Mm.
So I want to start there. And I would love to start with this, something that you wrote in the introduction, because this is what stopped me. This book is not just something I created, it is something I became. And in the becoming, I uncovered layers of memory and meaning, realizing that within everyone's story, there are countless others. These are mine.
That just hearing you say that gives me goosebumps.
It gave me goosebumps.
And it still brings up emotion for me. You know, the tears are just like ready to flow.
Yes.
And you know, I will say that I have been running these stories that I put into this book probably since I'm 12. I've been running these stories in my head. And people that have read the book say to me, I've heard this quite a bit now, how can you possibly remember all of that? How could you possibly, you know, remember those details? And the fact is, I've run those stories through my head so often. I've relived those stories so often that, of course, I remember them. You know, of course, I remember the details. And so part of me writing this book was to get those stories out of my head, out of my body, my emotional, physical, spiritual body, and just get them out there and share them. You know, whatever that meant to whoever or whomever read them, just to get them out there and share them, because I know that everyone has a story. And everyone has stories in that story.
Yes. Yes.
And not everybody wants to get them out. Some people don't remember them, you know, and it's not about getting them out to say, wow, wow, look at me, woe is me. It's not a victim story. For me, this was a story of, or my stories are about, I would say, my uncovery, my discovery, and then my recovery. Because part two of the book is about the recovery in the sense of the portals I found to express myself and reveal my wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I think I get chills reading that part in particular, because it's as if you have, in writing this book, you have like created this potion. And I think anyone that reads it gets to make a choice about going in within themselves And because as soon as I read it, I had a memory like right there. It just came right there. A memory that is related
Her.
to her.
Yeah. The one that's the one that's always looking off into the distance, right? Who's never a part
Yeah.
of whatever is.
Yeah.
And it's not that I wasn't present, I was just present in a very different way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A very different way. And a way that a lot of people really didn't understand.
Yeah.
And a way that I was ridiculed, criticized for, and not appreciated for, and not seen. See, that was the big thing. I didn't feel heard or seen. Um, and I was saying, writing this book, what happened for me, I fell in love with that girl. I fell in love with that little girl. I just love her so much now. And I not only love her, but people that have read the book have, called me or texted me or whatever, and they say, "Oh, when I read this, I just wanted to put my arms around her and just love her and just tell her how beautiful and wonderful she is." So, there's no time and space, right? So all that is happening right now.
Right.
That little girl is getting that love right
Right.
now. I'm
Right.
getting that love right now. And it's just really been so amazing. Just so amazing.
Yes. Yes.
If I may, Reverend Jennifer, let me ask you a question because I love the name of the book, Belonging. And what came up for me is, having the experience, as you said, we all have our stories and our stories within the stories. But I had an experience years ago where it wasn't so much I was told that yes, you belong here
Mhm.
in where I was, but it felt like I was trying to fit in,
Mhm.
trying to fit in. Is there, as far as you're concerned, is there a difference between belonging and fitting in?
That's a great, great, great question. And mm, for me, belonging feels more like an internal experience.
Mm.
It
Mm.
feels more, fitting in feels more extrinsic, right? It's like a push and a pull. So fitting in feels like I'm trying to push my way into something. It feels more aggressive.
Mm.
Belonging feels more introspective. It feels much more internal to me than it does external. It's a feeling tone more than it is a doing thing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And for me, that's the difference. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday a question: what's the difference between contentment and happiness? And I mean, that's kind of a weird analogy to make, but belonging is quiet in a way,
Mm.
right? Where fitting in feels, I'm going to fit in. I'm going to fit in. I'm going
Yeah.
to make myself fit in. It's a thing that I'm going to make happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
If that sounds meaningful for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. So I got curious about Reverend Jennifer, belonging and becoming,
Mhm.
and the journey that you I felt like a passenger. I didn't really feel like a reader. I felt like I was your company, you
Yes.
know, on this journey from, and don't even want to say from, but it was as if it was two things happening at the same time, coming together.
Yes.
How would you express that, the belonging and the becoming?
Well, first, let me say just want to say this. I
Mhm.
originally was going to name the book Becoming, but Michelle Obama had just published a book
Right.
called
Right.
Becoming. So I
Right.
said, well, that's probably not a good idea because I really wanted this to be about that evolution of becoming. At the same time, I knew that I had to dig up the roots. So then I changed the name to Digging Up Roots.
Mhm.
And then I changed the name to Finding My Place. And then I just put it all together to
Mhm.
the title, which is Belonging, Digging Up Roots to Find My Place.
Mhm.
And it goes back many years ago. Reverend Michael, actually, one of my first teachers, I was at a retreat with him, and somebody said to him, "What keeps you humble?" And he said, "What keeps me humble is that I carry great gratitude for all that I have become.
Yeah.
And at
Mhm.
the same time, I accept that I am always becoming."
Mhm.
And that just stuck in me, and it carried me actually through this book. I love that you say that you wanted to, you took the journey with me, because that was the purpose. I wanted people to move through the evolution, the undigging, right? The digging up to the place of really surrender and finding a voice. And so belonging, I learned in writing the book, which was really important because I didn't see this before I started. This happened as a process of writing the book, that belonging is not static,
Mhm.
that belonging is a journey of
Yeah.
becoming. And
Mm.
it's a shared thread. And it's a thread that connects us all. I think we all can say that we have had that experience. And by the end of the book, my huge revelation was that we are always becoming. And when we accept that, we know we belong wherever we are.
Mm. Beautiful.
That was the aha for me in writing the book. And that's what I wanted others to experience and accept that they have always belonged because they've always been becoming. And
Mhm.
that doesn't end.
Right.
I mean, at the end of my book, that's not over. I have been becoming, and some of that becoming has been brutal, you know, since, you know, since the time that this book ended when I was 36 years old. And so we just, enjoy the ride as best we can and find joy in every day. And I also have learned that, especially at this time in my life, that I'm in my lower 70s, and the aging process, and looking at that, experiencing that in a way that I don't think we're always prepared for. But what I realize is I've built a lot of things in my life. And so now it's even time to let go. It's time to
Mm.
shed and not acquire, but, as Reverend Michael used to say, to inquire
Mm-hmm.
and not acquire. And maybe that's the difference between belonging and fitting in.
Mm.
And and it's really more about not even worrying about what I'm building, but immersing myself in everything that I do. And this book for me was a total immersion,
Yeah.
one that you know, I grieved, really grieved when it was over,
Mm.
because it was such an immersion for me.
Mm.
And if we can all do that, to me, see, that's joy. If we could figure that out, how do I immerse myself in whatever I'm doing, find joy in
Yeah.
every day, and not worry about what's going to become of it, you know?
Finding joy, and then and I love the subtitle. And so the question is, um, digging up roots to find my way. I can only imagine, Reverend Jennifer, that digging up roots may not have been all that joy-filled.
Mm-mm. No.
So we're again here on the Academy of Self-Mastery, we're always speaking about, uncovering, and I don't use the term peeling the oven. I use the term um, polishing the facets, and getting all the dirt and grime so the light can shine through. So digging up the roots, man, that my first impression is, well, back in the day, I would like, oh, I'm not going to go back there to look at that. So what could you say to people who may be tuning into this? Um, because I'm sure it's a beautiful process to uncover, all that stuff. So how would you tell somebody how to go about that?
I think I would go back to what I started with, and that is, begin with the uncovery
I
process.
love
Mhm,
that.
And
mhm.
it's not, I don't use the word uncover. I use the word uncovery for a reason.
Right.
So begin with the uncovery process and just allow that process to happen. Even if it's just like jotting down things. I've included stories in this book that I never told anyone. The story, it's called The
Mm,
Umbrella, for example. It's and I've never forgiven myself for what happened there, but in writing this, I could and I did in a way that I
mm,
haven't. So it starts with the uncovery process. So uncovering the things and at the same time not forcing them because I'm a believer in that.
right.
If you carry trauma or you don't want to push yourself to a place that you're not ready to go to yet.
Right. Right.
And what I found with this book, and I think this answers somewhat your question, and what I'm continuing to discover about writing, is that we can't tell our story what it wants to write. We have to let it write us.
Yeah.
And I know
Mhm.
but that's how I wrote this book. I finished a story and then I let the story tell me what story wanted to be told.
Right.
To me, that was the uncovery process.
Mm,
And then I just step back and I say, so what is here for me to discover in all of this? And again, gently and lovingly, if I could. And of course, then always reaching out. I mean, I have two prayer partners. Believe me, I got lots of prayer, lots of prayer during this whole process, and I needed lots of prayer. I got a therapist. I did EMDR, I do Rubenfeld. I say I have my posse, and,
right.
and during the discovery process, I needed that posse to support me and to be supported by it. And then, finally, knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and truly, truly, truly believing that the light
Mhm.
within me that is now coming out to be seen is worth being seen, is
Mm,
worth being discovered, is worth being recovered, right?
mhm,
Because we
mhm.
cover up our light. And for me,
Right.
recovery is about revealing your light,
Right.
using your voice.
Mhm. You know, in the book, this is to just piggyback on that question that Eugene just asked about how people can go through this process of digging roots. And you gifted us with these worksheets at the end of the book, belonging, digging up roots to find my place. And so one of them is the first one is grounding in where I come from. And you
Mm,
guide us, right? You say take a few deep breaths, place your feet flat on the ground, close your eyes, and if you like, imagine the roots that connect you to your story. And then you have some prompts. What is a word, a phrase, image, or memory that represents your roots? And you say, write or sketch it here. I just love that you gifted us because I'm telling y'all, I'm about halfway through the book and stuff is coming up, right? It's digging up stuff. And so get when I get to the end, to have something that I can use as a tool to support myself is such a it's a surprise and
Mhm.
it's such a gift. What made you decide to include this?
Well, the thing that made me decide to include that was in writing this book, people say, how do you identify? And what I realized is that, I mean, I've kind of known this, but not in this way that I identify as a teacher and not a teacher in the traditional sense. I mean, I have a master's in education. I've been an instructional designer in my life, in my corporate life. It's not that kind of teacher. And I wanted this book to teach people something
mm,
really, really important to me. I wanted this book to be a tool where people can teach themselves
yes.
about themselves. And the way I know how to do that, my instructional designer self says, okay, let's put a little worksheet at the back. But now, which I'd like to say is I've taken that a step further.
Mhm.
I've just completed a book. It's called Belonging, a Poetry Companion.
Hmm.
So I've taken 7 of the poems that they're pivotal and they really move you through the process. And for each poem, I've created a reflection and then I've creating probing questions.
Mhm.
So that's going to be released. I think the publisher, I'll be getting that in a couple of weeks and hopefully also an ebook because I want to go deeper with this. I feel like, this now has become my ministry,
Yeah.
Hmm.
belonging ministry.
I
Hmm.
love it.
Us, I cannot tell you how many people know that I know and don't know have called me sometimes men crying on the phone telling me I had the same experience.
Hmm.
I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like an outsider. I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel loved. And it's not too late.
Right.
It's not too late. And, we say in the science of mind teaching that, and what I learned, that once you heal something in consciousness, it's healed, goes way back and, it's healed.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
And so anybody that has an opportunity to heal that, and if I can be a facilitator of that healing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just, I've done my job. That's
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I also look at myself as, not so much a teacher. I've been teaching for a while, but it's not so much about teaching, right? It's about facilitating the process.
Yes. Yes.
It's about
Yeah.
facilitating your process, their process, you know, and
Yeah.
being a reminder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in one of Ricky's songs. When there was no time before there was a number. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember. Not a lesson to learn, but a lesson to remember. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, let me remember who I am. And I love the uncovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I wrote down in terms of the uncovery, I would only imagine, Reverend Jennifer, that there must be a willingness to do that. So what would you say to people who may not be so willing to dig up the roots, to uncover? I know, right?
Well, I'm going to say, and this is what I say, don't go until you know.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
I always
Mm,
say that. And I am the last person to ever push
yeah.
someone to dig anything up
Right.
that's not ready to dig up because I
Yeah.
know how harmful,
Yeah.
really harmful. I've seen it. I
Yeah.
know how really harmful that can be. And so I would just really offer that person an opportunity to just sit with it,
Yeah.
just really sit with it. And, if they're so inclined, just bring it in, bring it within, bring it into meditation, bring it into.
Yeah.
But, I have people that have told me, I don't know how you wrote this. I would never want to go back.
Yeah.
And I didn't say to them, well, you have to, you must
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
on it. This may be their journey in life,
Right.
exactly where they are. And yet I've had conversations. I have had so many conversations. The other person on that cover is my first cousin. We're 2 weeks apart. We
Hmm.
same house, and we are completely different. And I've had conversations with her. She's read this book 3 times.
Hmm.
I've had conversations with her, and she says to me, I had no idea.
Hmm.
We lived in the same house. We
Mhm.
were inseparable. They
Hmm.
dressed us the same when we were kids. We had the same haircut. People thought we were twins. I had no idea.
Wow.
And she is still not willing.
Yeah.
I happiest childhood. I had a really happy childhood too. That's not what this book's about.
Right.
It's a whole nother book about that. But she doesn't remember. And let me tell you, the things I remember about her and what she went through
Hmm.
are unbelievably painful.
Mhm.
And she doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
So I haven't never, I just listen to her. I listen to her. She's asked me a million questions now, and I answer her questions. And, her comment is, are you sure we grew up in the same house?
Mm,
She doesn't want to remember. It was
yeah.
too difficult for her,
Yeah.
you know? She's got all the towel. You go to her house, towels, Tupperware, everything in perfect order in her house. She needs order in her
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
and this would create too much
Right.
what's that word? Decay. When it comes to harmony, discordance.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
Yet, did she learn something? Did we learn something? Did we share something in the conversations? Absolutely.
absolutely.
Something we would never have done
Mm,
had she not read this book.
beautiful. I mean, the healing that's going on there,
Yeah.
not the healing that's happened, the healing that's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, just if I could say, Eugene, what's really important to me is the idea of becoming. You don't stop becoming when you shed the mortal coil,
Right.
right? The
Right.
becoming an eternal process.
Yeah.
Maybe this is all you're meant to do in this, as Goldsmith said, in this parenthesis of eternity.
Right. Yeah.
All you're meant to do. Maybe this is all what I can't measure it or judge it.
Right.
Because everybody has their own path and their own God plan for
Mm-hmm.
this life experience, but it doesn't
Yes.
here, and that's the beauty of it.
Right. I've heard people speak about, not liking the word transition when we talk about death, but that's on the same, vein that you're speaking on. That's exactly what's happening. When we shuffle off the mortal coil, we're transitioning to another becoming
Absolutely.
because who we really are, as we know, is we are eternal beings.
Yes.
Mhm.
We are
Yeah.
spirit, we are light.
Yeah.
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 I,
Beautiful.
I I heard I was listening to this great podcast. Mark Nepo, his new book is phenomenal. And he talked about meteorites or something and how they spit off pieces of themselves. And some of them reach the earth and some of them don't. But when they're finished spitting all this stuff off, the only thing that's left is light. And isn't that true about us?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
because that's what he talks about. He talks about this is a time of letting go, spitting
Yes.
off. And then when we're done doing that, at the end of our days on this planet, we're just light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
And what I love about that too is we don't have to wait until the body's gone to shine that light.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's what this book is about.
About
Yes.
becoming. Yes.
About becoming
Yes.
Yes.
whatever it is I'm meant to become. And
Yes.
and yeah, shedding, certainly shedding. And for me, writing the stories was about shedding some of
Mm-hmm.
that so that,
Mm-hmm.
like Michelangelo, right, chipping away
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the stone so that the light can reveal itself, so that my most authentic self could reveal itself.
Yeah.
And that is myself that is most aligned with the truth of who I am and whose I am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Going along, with, there's the law of attraction. Well, now what we're speaking about is the law of subtraction.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's important, we don't always look at it that way. It's really important.
Oh, man. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I believe that life is created and what has been created to be simple once we recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a book written many, 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 many years ago. It's called Profoundly Simple.
Mm,
And life is profoundly simple.
it truly is. You have to write that one down. Go look that up.
Old book, old, 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 maybe from my 20s.
Okay. Fairly simple.
So, Rev Jennifer, what do you have plans? Because you talked about your joy of teaching. Do you have plans to create another offering for us that may be a course, a class, a
Yeah.
workshop?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm actually gonna, I think, launch it tomorrow. So I'm doing a 7-week workshop. It's called Belonging, a Poetry Companion, based on this new, I don't want to call it, my husband George keeps referring to it as a workbook. I like the idea of it's a companion. It's a belong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's 7 weeks, 7 poems, 7 reflections,
Mm,
participants, for $70.
Oh,
And
nice.
for the class, you'll also receive a PDF copy of the book. And when the book is published, I will mail you the hard copy of the book. And I'm doing that on Zoom. And the plan is to start October 20th and it runs till December 1st. And it's first come, first serve because there's 7 participants only
I
because I
love
want
it.
really rich, really deep, really introspective. Yeah, that's the plan.
I love that. You know, I love a theme, so all the sevens, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And I chose 7 poems on purpose. Um, and yeah,
And so speak to that, the 7 that you have going
well, it's
on.
just, to me, 7 is a number of like full circle, completion, wholeness,
Mhm.
7 days in the week. It just felt like the right number. Felt like
Yeah.
the right number to do. I didn't want to. And one of the things I'm doing is, for example, the first person that signs up, they're going to get assigned to the poem number 1 with the reflection, and their job for that week is going to be sit with the poem and the reflection so that they, as you would say, Eugene, master the self of that with the
Mm.
small s.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
And
Beautiful.
numerology, 7 is a very spiritual number.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's got a lot of, spiritual, and I write about it in the beginning, in the introduction, why I chose 7. And yeah,
Beautiful.
and then the other thing is I'm also speaking actually in Morristown, CSL Morristown on the 19th of October because they've asked me to do a book signing there.
Oh, good.
The workbook will be available, not the workbook, don't call it that. The companion
The
Tanya.
companion. Yes.
um at that as well. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
So are you continuing the journey? Because you stopped at 36.
Good question. I am continuing the journey, but I'm writing a novel. And
Ah.
it's personal, but it's not personal. And the novel is called, I get chills when I say that, it's called The House We Live In.
Mm.
And it's about a woman in her late 60s whose husband transitions unexpectedly. And it's about her, I'm not calling it her grieving process, it's about her mourning process because
Mm.
those are really different. And the process is metaphored by the house she lives in. So she starts out on the bathroom floor and then she
Mm.
moves through the house until at the end it's doors open, come in.
Mm.
And so for every part, I write a poem because I really think of myself more as a poet than an author. And so it's the continuation of that because it includes stories of my own life, but in a fictional way.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I
And
love it.
writing lots of poetry as well. So
Rev Jennifer, is there any contact information that you would like to share for people to get in touch with you?
yes, you can always email me at revjb18 @gmail. Instagram, I am revjb18. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
RevJB18.
At Gmail and Instagram. I can always be DM'd on Instagram as RevJB. I think it's JB18.
Okay.
And if anybody's interested and wants to jump on the train and sign up for this class before I just DM me or send me an email. I'm happy to get you in.
Fantastic.
Well, I am
Fan. Go ahead, Rev.
no, I was just gonna say I'm excited for you, Rev Jennifer.
Thank you.
It's a gift. It really is. Like that's the best way I can put it. One of my girlfriends, I don't know if she reached out to you, Deborah Reba. She read the book and she was in tears.
I know she sent me an email, and yeah, I mean, I've been with a lot of shedding tears because of this book, because I think folks, we're not different, we live in oneness. We're not different. We're more alike than we are different.
Right.
And it resonates, and the way that, I mean, I'll stop talking, but just the way our traditions, our culture, our families, the things that shape us are not different. The facts are, but the story is pretty much the same.
Right.
So yeah, thank you for reminding me of Deborah's comments.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
That's a great note to sign off on.
Yes.
Rev Melissa, any closing remarks you want to make?
I would just really encourage people to, and I'm not just saying this because I love Reverend Jennifer, it really is a gift to purchase her book, Belonging, Digging Up Roots to Find My Place. You will find yourself in this book. I guarantee it. You will.
Yes.
So thank you for blessing us with.
Thank you. This has been really, really fun. So thanks a lot. Joyful, Melissa. Very joyful.
Well, I hope that you come back too.
Absolutely. I'm happy to. Whenever I'm invited, I would love to be a part of this because, as I said, I have great love for both of you. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, everybody, that's it for this episode of Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. So as I like to say, be a friend and tell a friend, share it with a friend, and we'll see you next time. Peace and abundant blessings.
Peace.